The emergency services in various countries use systems of response codes to categorize their responses to reported events. One of the best known is the Code 3 response, which is used in several countries, particularly the United States, to describe a mode of response for an emergency vehicle responding to a call. It is commonly used to mean use lights and siren. Use of Code 3, although the exact origin of Code 3 is not clearly known, its use has spread across the United States and into parts of Canada. Code 3 was the title to a 1950s television police procedural intended to compete with Dragnet. The Greaseman used the term in one of his songs, I Love to Go Code 3. Response codes. The most commonly used response codes are, Code 1, non-emergency response. No lights or siren, following the flow of traffic. Code 2, semi-life-threatening emergency response. Follow traffic laws, but expedite response. Code 3, life threat response. Emergency traffic, or simultaneous use of lights and siren required in order to achieve a rapid response. This allows the responding unit to ignore jurisdictional traffic laws, but does not allow the responding unit to operate without due regard to safety. Code 4, all clear, or I am okay. Also used to tell another unit they can disregard. Code 5, area under surveillance. All marked units stay out of area. Code 6, calling for a cover unit, S. Code 7, lunch break or vehicle repair. Code 8, confidential information. Code 9, all non-emergency traffic stay off the radio. A beep transmits over the air every couple of seconds. Code 0, big emergency. All units in the area respond Code 3 to the unit's location. Caution Alpha, possibly armed. Caution Mike, mentally unstable. Caution Victor, violent. Alternative terminology. In some agencies, Code 3 is also called a hot response. Code 1 is also called a cold response. Some slang may be used, such as running hot, or running cold. Some departments may use the terms upgrade and downgrade as well. If a unit is responding to a call without lights or sirens, and the unit later needs to turn on lights and sirens, the term upgrade may be used. The term downgrade may be used in the opposite situation. Some paramedic EMS agencies use priority terms, which run in the opposite of code responses. Priority 0, DOA, Priority 1, critical, Priority 2, emergency, Priority 3, non-emergency. Other countries. United Kingdom equals, the use of lights and sirens is up to the individual police officer driving to the call. The nature of the call is an aggravating factor when deciding when to use them. Calls are graded by either the control room direct or by some sort of first contact center. Grading is affected by such factors as the use or threat of violence of the incident being reported. Even though the grading is done by the control room, officers can request an incident be upgraded if they feel in their judgment they are needed immediately. They can also request to downgrade an incident if they feel they cannot justify using emergency warning equipment to get there. If a control room does not grade a call an emergency and refuse to upgrade it, the police responding to the call can still use emergency equipment if they deem it appropriate. There is no nationally agreed call grading system, with a number of different systems being used across the UK. Some of these are listed below. Another variant in use within the UK. A numerical grading system is used in some forces. The use of flashing lights and sirens is colloquially known as blues and twos, which refers to the blue lights and the two-tone siren, once commonplace. In the UK, only blue lights are used to denote emergency vehicles. A call-out requiring the use of lights and sirens is often colloquially known as a blue light run. Australia equals Victoria, Ambulance Victoria. The information provided to Ambulance Victoria at the time of the 000 call generates a case type and ambulance response code depending on the severity of the emergency. There are three types of ambulance response. Code 1, a time-critical case with a lights and sirens ambulance response. An example is a cardiac arrest or serious traffic accident. Code 2, an acute but non-time critical response. the ambulance does not use lights and sirens to respond. An example of this response code is a broken leg. Code 3, a non-urgent routine case. These include cases such as a person with ongoing back pain but no recent injury. Source: http://www.ambulancevic.gov or How We Work response codes HTML. Please note additional codes are used, but these are for internal purposes. Country Fire Authority. There are two types of response for the Country Fire Authority which cover the Outer Melbourne area. These are similar to those used by Ambulance Victoria, minus the use of Code 2. Code 1, a time-critical event with response requiring lights and siren. This usually is a known and going fire or a rescue incident. Code 2, unused within the Country Fire Authority. Code 3, non-urgent event, such as a previously extinguished fire or community service cases. New South Wales, Marine Rescue NSW. Code 1 urgent response, use warning devices. Code 2 semi-urgent response, use of warning devices at skipper's discretion. Code 3 non-urgent response, warning devices not needed. Code 4 training, no warning devices to be used unless specifically needed for training. NSW ambulance codes, 01 clear the air, urgent message. Code 1 officer in trouble requires police. Code 2 cardiac arrest. Code 3 advise HASP of patient's condition. Code 4 patient deceased. Code 5 arriving at hospital, DOA for cert. Code 6 departing hospital from morgue. Code 7 arriving at morgue. Code 8 patient with a terminal condition. Code 9 rescue required, person trapped. Code 10 fire brigade required. Code 11 live wires down contact power off. Code 12 poisonous gas. Code 13 danger of explosion. Code 14 ambulance involved in collision. Code 15 patients or officer injured. Code 16 tow truck required. Code 17 overdose. Code 18 airport alert. Code 19 disaster alert. Code 20 meal break. Code 21 paramedics required. Code 22 morphine administered. Code 23 infectious disease. Code 24 approach with caution, await police. Code 25 suicide/suspicious death call police. Code 26 sexual assault, fire and rescue NSW use the following radio codes. Code 1, responding to incident. Code 2, called off incident. Code 3, on scene at incident. Code 4, available for response. Code 5, return to station. Code 6, entered rural fire service area. Code 7, unavailable to respond. The New South Wales Rural Fire Service uses two levels of response, depending on what the call-out is and what has been directed of a crew attending the incident by orders of the duty officer. Proceed to drive to an incident, without displaying lights and/or sirens. And to obey all road rules. Respond, to drive to an incident, urgently but safely, whilst displaying lights and/or sirens. Some exemptions exist for emergency drivers though all road rules still must be obeyed. The siren can be switched off at the discretion of the driver when it is not needed and reactivated at possible traffic hazards. The New South Wales Police Force uses two distinct classifications for responding to incidents. In order to respond Code Red, a driver must be suitably trained and have qualified in appropriate police driver training courses. Code Red, vehicle responding with lights and sirens activated. Code Blue, vehicle responding without lights or sirens activated. South Australia, SA Ambulance Service use a priority system. Note, priorities 0 and 3 have been reserved for future use. Priority 9 is used for administration taskings. The South Australian Metropolitan Fire Service, Country Fire Service and South Australian State Emergency Service use a priority system which has been recently updated. All calls are routed through the Metropolitan Fire Service including State Emergency Service 132-500 calls. During significant weather events the State Communication Centre unit of the SES take over call taking responsibly. This operations center is manned by volunteers routing calls for assistance to the closest unit who will dispatch the events to individual teams. Queensland Police uses the priority system. Code 1, immediate risk of death to a person. Proceed lights and sirens. Permission granted to disobey road rules. Code 2, immediate risk of serious injury to a person or damage to property. Proceed lights and sirens. Permission granted to disobey road rules. Code 3, routine job. Proceed without lights or siren. Road rules must be obeyed. Code 4, negotiated response time. Proceed without lights or siren. Road rules must be obeyed. For Queensland Police, Code 1 and Code 2 are exactly the same response time. Rarely will a job be given a priority Code 1, instead officers will be told to respond Code 2. Northern Territory Street John Ambulance Northern Territory uses terms to determine the response. Emergency or non-emergency. Emergency can be broken down into life-threatening or non-life-threatening. Emergency, life-threatening, respond lights and sirens. Emergency, non-life-threatening, respond without lights and sirens. Non-emergency, respond without lights and sirens. Western Australia Street John Ambulance Western Australia uses the following codes to determine a response. Priority 1 represents an emergency call. Priority 2 represents an urgent call. Priority 3 represents a non-urgent call. Possible shift to plain language. In the U.S., the National Incident Management System states it is required that plain language be used for multi-agency, multi-jurisdiction and multi-discipline events, such as major disasters and exercises, and federal grants became contingent on this beginning fiscal year 2006. NIMS also strongly encourages the use of plain language for internal use within a single agency. See also, Medical Priority Dispatch System, Police Code, 10 Code. References